People often say healing doesn't happen in a straight line, but in Selena Gomez's case, it wasn't just uneven. It was broken in pieces. Her journey moved from worldwide fame to quiet breakdowns, from love's highs to painful emotional crashes. Her time with Justin Bieber wasn't just a celebrity romance the media obsessed over. It left her deeply scarred. And now, after years of staying silent and expressing her truth through music instead of interviews, Selena has finally begun sharing what really happened behind the fame, the flashing cameras and the millions of likes. This wasn't just a young love story. It was emotional chaos unfolding in public. While fans were busy picking sides, decoding song lyrics, and feeding rumors, Selena was falling apart privately. What everyone thought was a breakup was actually something much heavier. A complete emotional collapse. What looked like a fairy tale was filled with pain no one saw. She didn't just lose Justin. She lost her sense of self. But in that loss, she discovered something stronger than love. Clarity. And what she's revealing now changes everything. Their story didn't start with scandal. It began with innocence. Two teenage stars, famous, hopeful, and in love before they really understood what love required. To the outside world, they seemed perfect. Beautiful, talented, and young. But behind the photos, interviews, and red carpet smiles, things were already falling apart. This wasn't a simple teenage relationship. It was emotional turbulence disguised as romance. Once the cameras turned off, reality set in. Their relationship became a cycle. On again, off again, back and forth. One week, they'd be seen kissing courtside at a Lakers game. The next, they'd unfollow each other online and post cryptic lyrics that sent fans into a frenzy. It wasn't just teenage confusion, it was deep emotional chaos. Every time Selena tried to move on, Justin somehow returned, and each time she let him back in, the pain repeated. "I had to find a way to survive," Selena later said. That one sentence said more than any tabloid headline ever could. While the internet turned their heartbreak into entertainment, Selena was quietly breaking inside. Her confidence faded, her trust cracked, and her heart was torn between holding on to someone she loved and growing into the person she needed to be. Through all of it, she stayed quiet, until the silence became her loudest message. She didn't point fingers or name names. She didn't have to. When Taylor Swift liked a mysterious post suggesting Justin had cheated, fans connected the dots. They analyzed old clips, compared timelines, and built their own story. One Selena never confirmed, but also never denied. Then came the shock. Just months after being seen with Selena again, Justin married Hailey Baldwin. No explanation, no closure, just a wedding photo and a diamond ring. To the public, it felt like betrayal in real time. For Selena, it felt like being left behind. She disappeared from no social media, no interviews, just silence. But even during that silence, she was still writing. And from that heartbreak came her most personal and raw goodbye yet. Lose You to Love Me wasn't just a song. It was her farewell to the version of herself that kept quiet for too long. She wrote it after seeing Justin remarry, an act that reopened wounds she thought had healed. Instead of reacting with anger, she poured her pain into words. It wasn't about revenge. It was about letting go. In those lyrics, millions finally heard what she'd never said out loud. She had been left, but she wasn't staying broken. Healing took time, though. During an April 2024 podcast, Selena admitted, "I hadn't liked anyone in a very long time." There was no bitterness in her tone, just honesty. After so many years of guarding herself, the idea of falling for someone again felt impossible. She went on dates, smiled in public, but deep down, nothing felt real or safe. After living in emotional survival mode for so long, trust felt like a risk she couldn't take. Then came Benny Blanco. He didn't show up as another celebrity or headline, but as someone kind and steady. He didn't try to fix her, he simply stayed by her side while she figured herself out. Their first kiss wasn't explosive. It was gentle. "Some kisses are just for fun," she said later. But this one meant something. It wasn't about fireworks. It was about peace. For the first time in years, Selena felt safe. Fans noticed the change right away. One viral comment captured it perfectly. "I don't want a toxic Justin Bieber. I want a nurturing Benny Blanco." This wasn't a rebound. It was emotional growth. Selena wasn't pretending to be strong anymore. She was actually becoming strong. She wasn't building walls around her heart. She was learning how to stay open without being destroyed. Still, even as she began to heal, her past cast long shadows. There were truths she had never spoken. Stories buried under years of silence. And when she finally decided to share them, the reality was heavier and more honest than anyone expected. For years, people speculated about cheating, timelines, and who hurt who. Selena never corrected them, until one day she did. In an interview with NPR, she quietly confirmed something many had suspected but never heard her say. She had experienced emotional abuse. When the interviewer asked softly, "Is that what you're referring to?" she didn't hesitate. "Yes," she replied. She didn't say it for attention. She said it for freedom. "I do feel I was a victim of certain abuse," she explained. "But I found strength in it." She wasn't clinging to pain. She was acknowledging it and finally stepping out of it. That single line, "I found strength in it," carried more power than any song lyric. It was her way of saying, "This happened, but I survived." Justin never directly responded to her statement, But months earlier, he had shared his own moment of truth on Instagram. "I started doing heavy drugs at 19, he confessed. "I abused all my relationships. I was resentful, disrespectful to women, and angry." He didn't name Selena, but everyone knew which years he was talking about and who had been caught in that chaos. For the first time, both sides of their story existed in the open. Not as a fight, but as honesty. Selena shared her pain. Justin admitted his mistakes. Their lives no longer crossed, but their truths finally did. It wasn't about assigning blame. It was about acknowledging the wreckage and moving forward. And maybe that's what real closure looks like. Not a perfect apology. Not a clean goodbye. Just two people, miles apart, no longer hiding from what happened. Healing isn't a straight road. For Selena Gomez, it was broken, messy, and painful. From global fame to private breakdowns, from love to loss, she lived it all under the world's gaze. But through that pain, she found something lasting. Not just healing, but clarity. And that clarity finally became her peace. After years of keeping quiet and letting her music tell the story, Selena Gomez is finally opening up about what really went on behind the fame, the flashing lights and the picture-perfect moments. Her story isn't about young love anymore. It's about emotional chaos lived out in front of the whole world. While fans were choosing sides, analyzing lyrics, and following gossip, Selena was quietly falling apart. What the world thought was just a breakup was actually something much deeper. A complete breakdown. What looked like a dream relationship was filled with hurt. She didn't just lose Justin Bieber, she lost herself. But out of that pain came something unexpected. Clarity. And what she's finally sharing changes everything. Their love story didn't begin with drama. It started with innocence. Two teenagers, both famous, full of energy, and in love before they even understood what love required. To the world, Selena and Justin looked like a perfect match. Beautiful, successful, and young. But behind the photos, the red carpet smiles, and the carefully curated social media posts, things were already falling apart. Their relationship wasn't simple. It was emotional turbulence hidden behind charm. When the cameras stopped flashing, the cracks became clearer. Their relationship turned into a constant cycle, on and off, over and over again. One week they were spotted kissing at a Lakers game, and the next they were unfollowing each other on Instagram, posting mysterious quotes that sent fans into a frenzy. It wasn't just teenage confusion. It was emotional exhaustion. Every time Selena tried to walk away, Justin came back, and every time she let him in, the pain started all over again. "I had to find a way to survive," Selena later said. That short sentence carried more truth than all the headlines combined. While fans were busy turning their relationship into entertainment, Selena was quietly losing herself behind the scenes. Her confidence was fading, her trust was shattered, and her heart was torn between loving the boy she once knew and becoming the woman she was trying to grow into. Through all of this, she stayed silent, until her silence became louder than words. She didn't call anyone out directly. She didn't have to. When Taylor Swift liked a post suggesting Justin had cheated, fans instantly began connecting clues. They searched through old interviews, compared dates, and built theories that the media never confirmed. But Selena never denied them either. Then came the moment that shocked everyone. Just months after being seen with Selena again, Justin married Hailey Baldwin. There was no public explanation, no closure, no warning. Just a wedding photo with a diamond ring. For millions of fans, it felt like betrayal happening in real time. For Selena, it felt like abandonment. She disappeared. No social media, no appearances, just silence. But even in that silence, she was still writing. Out of that heartbreak came one of the most honest songs of her career, "Lose You to Love Me." It wasn't just another breakup song. It was a farewell to the version of herself that had stayed quiet for too long. She wrote it after seeing Justin remarry, reopening wounds she thought had healed, but instead of lashing out, she turned to music. Her words weren't about anger, they were about letting go. In those lyrics, millions heard the truth she had never spoken. She had been left behind, but she wasn't staying broken. Still, healing didn't come quickly. In an April 2024 podcast interview, Selena said something that hit home for many. "I hadn't liked anyone in a very long time." Her voice was calm, not bitter, just honest. The gap between heartbreak and finding peace felt endless. She went on dates, smiled in public, but deep down, nothing felt real or safe. After spending years in survival mode, trusting someone again didn't just seem hard, it felt impossible. Then came Benny Blanco. He didn't enter her life as a celebrity headline. He showed up as a genuine person, kind, grounded, and patient. He didn't try to fix her pain. He simply stayed close while she healed. Their first kiss wasn't dramatic or movie-like. It was gentle and real. "Some kisses are just for fun," Selena said later. But this one meant something. It wasn't about excitement. It was about peace. For the first time in years, she felt safe instead of guarded. Fans noticed the difference instantly. One comment summed it up. "I don't want a toxic Justin Bieber. I want a caring Benny Blanco." This wasn't a rebound. It was growth. Selena wasn't pretending to be strong anymore. She truly was. She wasn't putting up walls. She was learning how to stay open without being hurt again. Still, even with a calmer heart, the past didn't completely disappear. There were truths she hadn't spoken and stories she'd buried for years. When she finally did talk about them, her words were heavier and braver than anyone expected. For years, people speculated about who hurt whom, who cheated, and when. Selena never confirmed or denied anything, but eventually she spoke. In an interview with NPR, she confirmed what many had suspected, but never heard from her directly. She had experienced emotional abuse. When the interviewer asked softly, "Is that what you're referring to?" Selena didn't hesitate. "Yes," she said. She wasn't saying it to make headlines or for sympathy. She said it to be free of it. "I do feel I was a victim of certain abuse," she explained, "but I found strength in it." She wasn't holding on to pain. She was rising from it. That one line, "I found strength in it," echoed more powerfully than any song lyric she'd ever written. It was her way of saying, "This happened, but I survived." Justin never addressed her words directly, but just a few months earlier, he had posted his own emotional confession online. "I started doing heavy drugs at 19, he wrote. "I abused all my relationships. I was resentful, disrespectful to women, and angry." He didn't mention names, but everyone knew the timeline and who had been caught in that chaos. For the first time, both of their truths existed side by side. Not as enemies, but as two people finally being honest. Selena had shared her pain. Justin had admitted his mistakes. Their paths no longer crossed, but their honesty did. It wasn't about pointing fingers anymore. It was about finally acknowledging what had been broken. Maybe that's what closure really means. Not a perfect apology, not a public explanation, but the quiet understanding that both people survived what once destroyed them. Selena Gomez's healing wasn't simple or clean. It was painful, raw, and real. But through it all, she didn't just rediscover love. She rediscovered herself. Everyone knew what year Justin Bieber was talking about and who had been caught in that storm with him. For the first time, both sides of the story stood together, not to fight, not to defend, but to finally speak the truth. Selena Gomez had revealed her pain. Justin had admitted his damage. Their paths no longer crossed, but their confessions did. This wasn't about guilt or blame anymore. It was about recognizing what had really happened. Maybe closure doesn't come wrapped in forgiveness or apologies. Maybe it's just two people being honest, finally, even if they're miles apart. Selena's story was never simple. Her journey was full of public smiles and private pain. They say healing isn't a straight road, and in her case, it was broken, messy, and filled with setbacks. From global fame to emotional exhaustion, from being a Disney sweetheart to being labeled as Justin Bieber's ex, she lived through it all in front of millions. Her relationship with Justin wasn't a love story. It was a survival story. Behind every smile, there was a wound that hadn't healed yet. Now, after years of silence, coded lyrics, and emotional interviews, Selena has begun telling her truth. She's letting the world see what fame and heartbreak really did to her. This isn't about gossip, it's about growth. Her story shows what it means to lose yourself completely, and then slowly find your way back. Selena and Justin's story didn't start with chaos. It began with innocence. They were two teenage stars who met too young and loved too hard. Both were adored by millions. Rich, famous, and still figuring out who they were. To fans, they looked perfect together. They had everything. Looks, fame, chemistry. But behind the flash of cameras, cracks were already forming. Their love was never calm. It was intense, dramatic, and exhausting. Every breakup was followed by a reunion. Every reunion led to another heartbreak. One week, they were together at basketball games. The next, they were posting cryptic captions and unfollowing each other online. Fans turned their love life into a game of clues, decoding lyrics and interviews like detectives. But while people made memes and hashtags, Selena was quietly breaking down behind the scenes. She later admitted, "I had to find a way to survive." That single line said everything. Her life had become a storm she couldn't escape. She loved him deeply, but that love started to hurt more than it healed. Her trust faded, her confidence cracked, and she was torn between holding on and letting go. She kept her silence for years, but silence can be louder than words. When Taylor Swift liked a suspicious post about Justin's behavior, fans connected the dots. And even though Selena never confirmed it, her music told the story. Then came the moment that shocked the world. After being seen with Selena just months earlier, Justin suddenly married Hailey Baldwin. No warning, no explanation, just a wedding ring and an Instagram post. For millions, it felt like betrayal. For Selena, it was heartbreak in real time. She disappeared from public view. No tweets, no interviews, no red carpets. But during that silence, she was writing. The song that came next changed everything. Lose You to Love Me wasn't just a hit. It was her goodbye. She wrote it after watching Justin remarry, turning her pain into a farewell. The song wasn't revenge. It was release. Every lyric was a confession of what she couldn't say before. "In 2 months, you replaced us," she sang. Simple words that cut deep. Through that song, she finally buried the version of herself that waited, hurt, and hoped for too long. Still, healing doesn't happen in one song. In an interview in 2024, Selena said, "I hadn't liked anyone in a very long time. No anger, no bitterness, just honesty." After years of heartbreak, even liking someone again felt impossible. She went on dates, smiled for cameras, but her heart stayed guarded. Then Benny Blanco appeared. Not as a flashy producer, not as a celebrity boyfriend, but as a quiet constant. He didn't try to fix her, he just stayed. Their connection wasn't built on drama, but on peace. Selena said their first kiss wasn't full of fireworks. It felt safe. That single word, safe, meant more than love ever could. Fans noticed the difference too. One tweet summed it up. "I don't want a toxic Justin Bieber. I want a caring Benny Blanco." For the first time in years, Selena's love life wasn't a spectacle. It was a soft landing. She wasn't pretending to be strong anymore. She was living it. She wasn't numb. She was healing, but even as she found calm, old wounds still ached. For years, she stayed quiet about what really happened behind closed doors. People speculated, the internet guessed, but Selena never confirmed or denied. Until one interview changed everything. During a conversation with NPR, the host gently asked if she had experienced emotional abuse. Selena didn't hesitate. She said, yes. No drama, no extra words, just truth. It wasn't meant to expose anyone. It was meant to free herself. "I do feel I was a victim of certain abuse," she said, "but I found strength in it." That line shook everyone who heard it. She wasn't saying it for sympathy. She was reclaiming her voice. For years, she had been written about, talked over, judged. But now she was the one writing the ending. Justin never denied or confirmed what she said, but around the same time, he posted something that offered his side of the truth. "I started doing heavy drugs at 19, he wrote. "I abused all my relationships. I became angry and disrespectful to women." He didn't say names, but everyone understood. He was talking about that time, those years, that relationship, that chaos. For the first time, their stories matched. Not an accusation, but an understanding. Selena had spoken her pain. Justin had confessed his destruction. Both carried scars, both caused and received hurt. And though they no longer shared a path, they shared accountability. Maybe that's what closure really looks like. Not a clean goodbye, but a quiet understanding that the storm is over. They don't need each other anymore, not out of anger, but because they've both moved past the wreckage. Selena lost a lot. Her peace, her sense of self, her innocence, but she gained clarity. She learned that love doesn't always mean holding on. Sometimes it means walking away and rebuilding what was broken inside you. Her story isn't about who hurt who. It's about growth, survival, and finding strength in honesty. And maybe, just maybe, that's how healing really looks. Not perfect, not pretty, but real.